So, what I want to talk about this afternoon is about how at every spring equinox and every summer and winter solstice and fall equinox, there's a level of planetary activation that takes place. And the guides call it the dispensations of grace. And at each one of these times, there's a specific kind of activation that comes in that takes us through the next cycle. And starting, I think it was 2 spring equinoxes ago, they started bringing through activations on the spring equinox that have to do with coming into oneness again. And so each year, it's a different level of what we need to do to return to oneness. Last year, it was about coming into oneness with all parts of ourselves, and a teaching about how we need to learn to love every aspect of ourselves, our subpersonalities, our past lives, because it's time to draw all of those pieces of ourselves back into oneness again. And the only way we can do that is by learning to love everything about ourselves. So the things that you like the least about yourself, you need to learn to love them, because that is the main thing that will help them transmute and raise their frequency to a higher level. Even if you have a part of your inner voice that's a really nasty little judgmental inner voice, you can choose to love it and not argue with it, and that will gradually transform it over time and help you become one again. Well, at each activation, they say that we need, just like Lord Maitreya and Kuan Yin said about taking the office of Buddha, they need a certain number of people on the planet who are all ready to anchor that activation before they can even bring it through. So they started working with me on this, the one for this year, before the spring equinox. And it was really awesome. I did it with all the workshops that I taught when I was in Japan this year, and I've done it 2 or 3 times with classes and other people. And every time I do it, it's just wonderful for me. And it has to do with, does everybody know what the photon band is? Okay, I heard a no, so I'll explain it just briefly. So the photon band is like a huge, huge beam of light or pillar of light that comes from the great central sun. And as we move in our cycles, and our galaxy goes through its orbital patterns, we go through 26,000 year cycles that are like an orbital pattern that's like an oval shape. And during that orbital pattern, we come to a point when we're at the end of a 26,000 year cycle, where we move in to a more direct connection with the photon band. And that's always a time of awakening on the Earth. Well, the Earth has been fully in the photon band now for several years. But what I've learned just this year is that after we're in the photon band fully, that the levels of activation that happen in the photon band keep going deeper and deeper. And that's why the energies keep becoming more and more refined all the time, as well as the assistance from all of the guides and angels who are working with us continually. Well, this photon band is it's like it has a frequency in it that's encoded for helping everything return to its natural form. So it's really about bringing us back into affinity with ourselves, and also bringing the earth and all of the plants and all of nature. It's about bringing everything back into its true form and into its self-affinity. Well, this spring equinox was a time for deepening the connection with the photon band, because it was time for the photon band to start helping us reconnect to the divine source of all that is, and to the great central sun more directly. It's been working on awakening, but now it's beginning to directly work with reawakening the connection to the great central sun. And when I did this in Japan on spring equinox and right after, a really amazing thing happened. As we were coming to the completion of the activation, all of a sudden this energy started coming in the room, and I recognized the frequency right away. It was the great central sun itself actually coming into the room we were in. And at first I didn't say anything to the group because I thought, how can that be? Because in all the years I've been teaching, to get to the great central sun, we started out having to go through our local sun, Pleiades, Sirius, Orion, the center of the galaxy, Andromeda, and then from there was a portal to the great central sun. Well, then just about 2 years ago, it opened up that there was a portal just over top of Mount Shasta that you could go through to go to the great central sun. Well, now they have an ability to literally merge with us here in the room that we're in. And even though it's very far away and through the galaxies, there's a way that things are starting to be able to bridge the time and space continuum more easily, so that the great central sun actually can come right here in the room with us, and we'll be experiencing that at the end of the activation I'm going to do. And then my Holy Mother and Holy Father will be able to connect with us directly from that. So for me, it's a really exciting thing. The first time it came through, I was like, wow, how can this be? Because I'd been teaching for so many years, having to do it the other ways. So there's another thing I need to teach you about before we go into the activation. And that is something that's just inside your crown chakra. So immediately inside the crown chakra, there's something that's called the 108 faceted prism. And the 108 faceted prism is a very small little prismatic energy that's cut. It's like a cut jewel, or like a prism that you hang in the window that reflects rainbows. And it has 108 facets. Well, the focus of the 108 faceted prism is to help you realign with your connection with all of the beings and all the places in the galaxies that you've been in touch with in other lifetimes. It's also about holding your goal, your divine purpose for this lifetime and for your existence in general. Well, I've always known that about the 108 faceted prism. But now it's not only to hold your information about the connection, it's actually meant to be enlightened to a whole new level where it holds the connection to the great central sun and to those places throughout the galaxy that you have a direct connection with. So in the beginning of our activation, we're going to do a clearing of the 108 faceted prism so that the guides can prepare it to be taken to a whole new level. Now, Mount Shasta, inside of, we have two peaks. There's the tall one that's Shasta and the short one that's Shastina. Right inside the Shastina peak is a place where the intergalactic federations of light have a meeting place. It's like the Ascended Masters retreat that's in Shasta, but it's for the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And just at the top of Shastina, when you first come to the inside of Mount Shastina, is the 108 faceted prism for the whole planet. Because on our planet, we have chakras for the whole earth. And Mount Shasta is the chakra just above the head, which enters energy into the 108 faceted prism that's just inside the crown chakra. So what we're going to do is be anchoring the 108 faceted prism of Mount Shasta around this room so that it's as if we're sitting inside of it. Then we're going to do a cleansing of our 108 faceted prism, as well as this pineal gland, which is in the center of the hand. The pineal gland is called the master gland for the body. It's also the master gland spiritually in terms of letting information and frequencies come in to bring energy into our body of our awakening. So we're going to also do sacred geometry activation of our pineal gland. Then the soul matrix, which is here, is inside what we call a double tetrahedron, which some people call the Merkaba. That's the geometry of the soul. We're going to do a little bit of sacred geometry activation on that. And then we have an energy center that's at the base of just below the base of the spine called the perineum center. And it's the energy center for connecting spirit into the lower body. And the sacred geometry of that, if you could imagine, if you had something that looked like circles, but they start overlapping each other, so there's many, many circles kind of looping together, that's what the geometry of the perineum is like. And also the geometry of the pineal gland looks like the center of a sunflower, which is the Fibonacci spiral. And the Fibonacci spiral is a spiral that has spirals going in every direction. From every starting point at the center of the sunflower, it spirals out in both directions. And that's the sacred geometry of the pineal gland. And you don't need to remember that, but I just thought I'd tell you in case you were interested. So, yes. The great central sun is like the center of our whole universe. And it's like the original heart and soul. If the whole universe was one being, the great central sun would be like the soul of that being. And it's the place where Holy Mother and Holy Father exist, in that center of oneness. And dimensionally speaking, I work with a 13-dimensional system. And the great central sun is the location of the 12th and 13th dimensions. Does everyone understand everything else about what we're going to do? Okay, let's go for it. So let's close our eyes. And let us begin by calling on the guardians of the cities of light of Mount Shasta and the members of the intergalactic federations of light. We ask you to anchor around and through this room the 108-faceted prism of Mount Shastina. And we ask you to anchor that 108-faceted prism so that it's as if we're sitting inside of it, everyone in this room. And you may be noticing that as the 108-faceted prism is anchoring, it's already beginning to just spin a little bit. It's almost as if there's more than one prism and it spins in different directions. So we're just going to be sitting inside that for a while. Now, I'd like us to welcome the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders. The Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders. And that particular group is a group of beings who are the ascended masters from every civilization that has ever lived on Earth. Many of them are now extinct, but it's all of the ascended masters from all time. So let us welcome the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders to join us, because they're going to be assisting in this activation. And they're asking us to just take a short time now to welcome the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders to come in front of you. And there'll probably be several of them that want to meet each of you individually. So just welcome the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders and tell them that you would like to meet them. And you might want to have your hands palms up, because sometimes they like to touch your hands. Sometimes they put their hands on your shoulders or on your third eye or your heart. So just welcome the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders to come and make a brief connection. And one of the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders wants me to tell you about him. And it's actually the one that we know of as Serapis Bey. And there was a time when he was a member of a civilization in our solar system that were called the Serapi. And that civilization ended up with every member of the civilization ascending. And he remains here on Earth as a representative. But all of the other members are still connected with him, and they would like to make a special connection to each of you right now. So Serapis Bey and the Serapi tribe of the ancient times. It's funny, Serapis Bey has never shown me this before, but he's showing me that when the tribe called the Serapi, when they ascended, they were getting together for a group meditation, and they were practicing group levitation. And everyone reached a certain level with the levitation and then found themselves in a different reality, and that's when they had completed their ascension. And he says, thank you for sharing this with them. Now, the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders are going to be here with us for the activation, but they're just going to step back a little bit. I'd like us also to welcome a group called the Race of the Giant Ones of Light. The Race of the Giants of Light. And they're also going to be working with us because they're the ones who assist in anchoring the photon band at the next level. Now, I want us to call in the Dolphin Star Temple Higher Council of Light and the Pleiadian and Syrian Emissaries of Light. And let us ask them to begin to do any kind of healing or clearing, pain erasure, or depossession that's needed for the 4 energy centers in the body: the 108 faceted prism, the pineal, the soul, and the perineum. And we're going to ask them to put us in a healing chamber of light for doing any healing, any removal of other people's energies, removing any psychic cords, or depossession or repair of these energy centers. And we're going to be in this chamber for just a short time, so just move into silence, just being the witness of whatever you're feeling or experiencing. And as the healing on these 4 energy centers is completing for some of us, welcome them to begin the activation of the healing of the sacred geometry of the 108 faceted prism, the pineal, the soul, and the perineum. So asking for a sacred geometry, activation, and healing chamber of light for all 4 energy centers. And the Syrian archangels are the ones who will be doing that with us. So just allowing your breath to be deep and gentle. And while this sacred geometry activation is ongoing, they're saying that they're ready now to anchor the photon band into the 108 faceted prism of Mount Shasta. So we call now on the intergalactic federations, the race of the giant ones, the Rainbow Diamond Council of Elders, to anchor the photon band deeply into the 108 faceted prism of Mount Shasta that is blended with us in this room. Now I would like each of you to invoke for the photon band to begin to activate and blend with your 108 faceted prism. So calling on the photon band to activate your 108 faceted prism. And as it comes in, it's going to begin to spin the 108 faceted prism faster and faster. And you'll begin to feel as if there are waves of light that are coming out through your head and out through the room and through the planet from the activation of the 108 faceted prism. And just try to let your teeth be apart a little bit, because if your jaw's relaxed, it helps the energy centers open more. And they're asking us to just do an affirmation. I am ready now to connect with the divine source of all that is. And also an affirmation, I am ready now to activate my divine purpose on the earth and to live it. I am ready to activate my divine purpose on the earth and to live it. They're asking us to do an affirmation out loud together, so I'll say it and then you can repeat it out loud. I am ready to activate my divine plan. And I am ready to live in alignment with my divine plan now. So be it. And there's just one more upgrade of the photon band energy coming in. So just breathe and allow. And the photon band is ready now to overflow the 108 faceted prism. So just call on the guides who are working with us to bring the photon band into your pineal gland and to begin to activate that now. So calling on the activation of your pineal gland with the photon band. And just a reminder to keep your jaw relaxed and teeth slightly apart. And the guides are saying that there are some of you here who have contracts with yourself from other lifetimes to never let yourself become fully enlightened and awakened ever again, because in past lives you had experiences to make you think that that would never be safe on the earth. So I want you to visualize as if you have a legal contract in front of you. And imagine it has your name on both sides because it's a contract you made with yourself. And imagine that that contract says that you will never allow yourself to become fully enlightened and fully awakened in any future lifetime. And I want you to imagine that you have a canceled stamp, and just cancel that contract and now with the stamp. And then let yourself just tear it up and burn it in a big rainbow flame bonfire. And then they want us to say an affirmation out loud together. So I'll say it and you can repeat it. I am ready to now to become fully awakened and enlightened. To become fully awakened and enlightened. I am ready to be the Christ I am. So be it. And the pineal gland is now ready to overflow into the soul matrix, into the double tetrahedron. So let's ask the guides now to bring the photon band all the way into our soul matrix and begin to activate and spin the soul matrix with the photon band connection. And just breathe deeply all the way from your crown down into the soul, helping that photon band anchor more deeply. They're asking for a clearing of another contract that some of you have. And some of you have contracts with yourself or with your parents that you are never going to be able to speak your truth and be your true self on the earth because you would be too different from other people. So just see a legal document that says contract between you and yourself or your parents. It's a contract that you will never be able to express your truth or be your true self because it would make you too different from other people. And you believe you have to fit in. So let's cancel that contract, tear it up and burn it in the rainbow flames. And as that photon band is being taken to a next deeper level, they're asking for us to do another affirmation out loud together. So I'll say it, and once again you can repeat it. I am ready to live as my true self now. I am ready to remember who I am. I am ready for my soul to be fully awakened. And so be it. The soul matrix is ready now for the photon band to overflow all the way down to the perineum, which is just below the base of the spine. So welcome the guides to activate the photon band all the way into the perineum center now. And just take a deep breath all the way from the crown down through the soul and into the perineum to help awaken it. And just keep breathing and allowing that activation of the perineum center. And we're going to do another affirmation together. I am ready to bring all of myself. Ready to bring all of myself into oneness in my body. I am ready to have all of my dimensional aspects fully reconnected now. And so be it. Now the perineum center is beginning to expand, and you're going to begin to feel as if the perineum, the soul, the pineal, and the 108-faceted prism are beginning to blend together and become big enough that your body is sitting inside of the energy center. So just breathe deep and allow that expansion so that the energy centers are expanding. And it's as if they're blended in oneness with all the geometries of all four centers blending into one around and through your whole body. With the photon band activation beginning to move through every cell of your body now. You may be beginning to feel how the great central sun energy is like a huge light, like the color of sunlight, that's beginning to come into the room, and it's just through the top of the room now. And they're beginning to bring it lower into the room until it's going to be as if we're sitting inside the great central sun. So just breathe and welcome that energy of the great central sun to blend with us here in this room. And just affirm silently that you're ready to allow the light of the great central sun to be blended with you in every cell of your body, in all of your energy centers and your aura and hologram. And there's a huge group of Elohim, who are the creator gods and goddesses, who are also coming in with the great central sun. And they're just going to be kind of filtering into the room. Some of them may join you in your seat, or just stand around you or in the aisles. But there's a very large group of Elohim coming. So let's welcome these creator gods and goddesses to be with us, and to help deepen our connection with the great central sun and to the divine source of all that is. And the message coming from this Elohim group is, know that without exception, that each of you in this room were created in love. Know that it is impossible for it to be otherwise. And know that it is impossible for it to be other than true, that your divine birthright is to live in oneness and truth and glory, in peace with us and with the divine source, and in full awakening to who you really are. Know that it is impossible for you to be anything less than beautiful. And they're asking for you to give permission for this energy of the great central sun to be blended with all parts of your psyche and your body. Your subconscious, your unconscious, your conscious. And they're asking you to give them permission now to assist you with a reawakening of parts of the brain that have been dormant until this time. So if you would like to give them permission to help you begin to awaken parts of the brain that have been living in dormancy. And the Elohim are saying, there is nothing to fear. There is nothing that you can ever remember that can harm you. But in the remembering, if you can remember something that you thought of as tragic at some time in your experiences, and you can know that you have lived through it to the other side, it can deepen your ability to come into your mastery, knowing that there is nothing that can ever hold you back permanently. So know that remembering can set you free, and that it can never harm you. Only your own fear of remembering can harm you. And they're doing an activation with us right now that I haven't done before, at least not on a conscious level. And you may be beginning to feel as if there are like millions of little tiny lasers of light coming into your brain. They're going to begin to do a next level of brain activation. And you may feel like it's like little tingles or pinpricks coming in all around your whole head. And just breathe, let your jaw relax, and welcome the activation. I am one with the infinite sun, forever and ever and ever. I am one with the infinite sun, forever and ever and ever. I am one with all I am, forever and ever and ever. I am one with all that I am, forever and ever and ever. And you may be feeling these little lasers or pinpricks coming into your eyes now. And they're asking you to give them permission to create a removal of some of the veils that are in our eyes and our third eye. Veils of judgment or fear of seeing, fear of knowing. So give them permission to lift and clear any of the veils that are ready to be cleared at this time. The veils of illusion. And Holy Mother and Holy Father are sitting above our group now. So let's welcome them to come all the way down to the floor level and be here in this room with us. And they're inviting each of you to just imagine yourself walking up to where they're sitting here in the front. And take each of their hands and just let them commune with you. And as you're joining the Holy Mother and Holy Father and holding their hands, just allow their love to begin to pour through you like streams of light, receiving it through your hands, through your body. Could someone please turn off your cell phone? Thank you. So just receiving their love. And the Holy Mother and Holy Father are asking now if they can do a blending with you. So I want you to imagine that you're standing between the two of them. And that as they begin to blend into oneness with each other, that you will blend with them also. So standing between Holy Mother and Holy Father, and as they blend with each other, they blend with you. And I hear them saying, "Beloved children of light, in a divine reality, when you are born into your body, your mother and father would be together, holding their deep love and adoration for each other, so that when you, their child, is born, you know that you're coming into a safe world where your mother and father love each other deeply. Let us give you that now, as we blend our love for each other. Let yourself experience yourself as our child being held in that mother and father love. And our love is for you as well as for each other. But feel our love for each other first, and then our love for you. Our love is eternal. It is impossible for us not to love you in every moment of every day. So just receive now. And you're going to begin to become aware that as you're blended with the Holy Mother and Holy Father, it's as if their blending begins to create a oneness with our whole universe. So feeling that blending with Holy Mother, expanding you into that blending with the whole universe. And knowing that the whole universe is continually filled with their love. And the love of all that is. We're going to now begin to feel that the blending with the whole universe is beginning to recede, and we're blended just with the Holy Mother and Holy Father in the great central sun. And the Holy Mother and Holy Father are beginning to individuate again, and you'll find yourself once again standing between them. And they would like to give you a gift to bring back with you that will help you always feel your connection to them. So just extend your hands and receive what they want to give you. And when they've given you the gift, you'll know where to put it in your body. And it will always be there. And just take a moment to thank them for making this beautiful connection with us today. And I hear them saying to you, when you remember this time, you will always be able to feel our love. And when you remember that you are beautiful, you will always be able to feel our love. And they're beginning to give a namaste and begin to move out of the room. And as they lift up above the room, the Elohim are also beginning to leave the room. And we thank the Elohim for their connection here today also. And as that's receding, the energy of the great central sun is beginning to be pulled out of the room. And now the Intergalactic Federation of Light and the race of giant ones are beginning to lift. The 108-faceted prism of Mount Shasta will no longer be around us. And the photon band connection that we've made will always be with us. But we're going to ask now for the perineum center just below the spine to be slowed down so that it's spinning at a rate for us in our normal waking consciousness. And as it slows down, you'll begin to feel how the perineum, the soul, the pineal, and the 108-faceted prism will begin to feel individuated again now as if they're only in your body. And as the perineum center slows down, the soul matrix spinning will begin to slow, as will the pineal and the 108-faceted prism. And we ask that all these energy centers continue to spin at whatever would be a normal rate of spinning for our waking consciousness now. And let us just sit briefly in silence and feel this spinning and what the activation has done for us in our bodies. You may feel as if you have more space inside your head, inside your body. And if you need a new grounding cord before you waken and come back to the room, give yourself a new grounding cord now. And let's just sing our little song together we did on that first night. The I am that I am that I am. I am that I am that I am. I am that I am that I am. I am that am that I am. And so be it. So just gently opening your eyes and coming back to the room. If you need to stretch, feel free to do whatever you need.